Woof! Welcome to Tuesday night with Two Dogs Digs. And tonight we're talking about if you're losing or if you've lost your reselling mojo. Because this can happen to people. It happens to us actually all the time. But I know even when I posted this, I got a number of people saying, oh, so we're going to talk a bit about losing your reselling mojo. And we're also going to talk about 5 ways we think you might be able to get it back, or 5 things that we hope you could try to see if you can get it back. Now, again, we are talking about losing your reselling mojo. We are not talking about Mojo Jojo. We are not talking about Jojo Siwa, God knows. We're not talking about Ken's Mojo Dojo Casa House. Although it could be your house. We are talking about losing your reselling mojo. And of course, who else would I talk about it with other than the Mojo Dojo Casa Base? Well, that makes sense.
Yeah. Hello.
Your Dojo Casa basement right now.
Yes, I'm working on it.
You're working on it. Hey, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us here for our live show. Here we go. Let's say hello to everyone we got in here so far. We got, hey, Joel is here, and Sherry, Lisa, Janet, Michael, and Jennifer is packing done for tomorrow and drop off with 3 minutes to spare. Hopefully people use your Tuesday free shipping. Hopefully. Susan, who actually gave us the idea for doing this show, and we'll talk a little bit about that. Sandy, Susan, did I say Kevin already or no? I can't remember.
Kevin, no.
Michael.
Krav, no.
No, I didn't say Kevin. Mr. Carl, Tina, Andrew, I don't know. Christmas figures, put them away, and I forgot about it. That's good. That's good you found them. Kendra, Heather, and Bob. Sherry hopes she gets inspired. She needs a swift kick in the arse. I think sometimes we all need a swift quick kick in the arse. Mr. Paul, Kathy, Greg. Let's see who else we got. Lisa, Charmaine, Hydron. Let's see, Mary Ann. Let's see, David. Hey, Tamara. Thank you for answering. I had a post about something, and Tamara actually answered it first in the craft group when I had something that I was like, I need to figure out what the heck this is. But she's here for her Mojo help. Sherry has COVID mojo right now. Oh.
No.
Carl saved $25 from Moat to Newfoundland, sending him a remote. Lisa saved $17 selling a teacup to California. What did you say, Rick?
Ours was close to 30. It was like $28.95 to somewhere in the States.
Somewhere in the States, yeah.
Facebook Marketplace sale.
Yeah, actually what we did was, this is kind of in the world of what we're talking about, some of the things we're talking about. I had actually posted some Halloween stuff in a Halloween group on Facebook, and I wasn't getting the traction that I wanted. And I was posting like this item, and this item, and this item, and I had lots of likes, but nobody buying them. So I literally went, you know what? We're getting too close to Halloween. I bundled it all up into one big picture bundle, and then I put the price at something. I thought, you know what? I'm going to put a price on this and say include shipping for $50 US. And I had somebody grab it within minutes because I knew I was going to send it out with the free shipping Tuesday. So somebody looked at it and they were so happy. And I got rid of a bunch of stuff. It was stuff that I'd probably bought for $1 or $2 here and there. So I probably had about $25 worth of stuff in there. But I got 50 from it. So it was just a different way.
I remember when you were actually posting it that you were waffling between $40,
50,
40, 50, 40, 50.
Well, I was afraid if I put
go for 50. I
was afraid if I
the
put
price
40, 50, no one would buy it. Then I'd be stuck with it still, and I wanted to get it out of here. So something like that. So let's see. How did we come about doing this show? Well, here's something that you may or may not know. But like as we as resellers, and luckily we're a team.
What?
A team that has certain ways of doing things. So I do most of the thrifting. I do most of the researching. I do most of the listings. Rick does most of the photography and most of the packing. And then I take it in for shipping. So that's kind of how we split things up. There's not a lot that Rick does thrift wise. There's not a lot that he does. When we go to the estate sales, he'll shop at them, but he's like 10 to 20% of the stuff that we buy.
I'm too pokey in thrift stores.
And he's
I
very
look
pokey.
at everything
I do
on
an
every
entire thrift
shelf.
store, and then I come in, he's still in aisle 2. And I'm like, I'm ready to go, like, kind of thing. So
did you look it up? Not yet.
Yeah,
did you look it up?
And then did you
yet.
look it up? Which you guys have known for years. That even when we did our live thrifts, I've asked him a couple of times about that.
I've had some good scores though.
Yes, he does find good things, and then every once in a while, what did Good Dog buy now? Don't cry. Show me what you bought. That thing you showed me.
What thing? Oh.
It was called preparation.
Ah! Pew, 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 pew. Stella! It's
Stella?
a little Stella. Adrian. Where I get my brutish, toxically masculine men out of the yeah.
So yes, this was actually something that Rick bought. Not one, not two.
I got 3 of them.
3 of them.
But look at the fancy dress. The material that came for these little shirts is definitely on the feminine side.
It's like,
I think some grandmas in a.
It was like they dressed Rocky in Golden Girls caftans. And the thing is, these were not homemade. These are real items.
There's no tag.
There's no tag, but these were real. And we actually just sold 2.
They're by a company called Rojus, Rojus.
But we sold 2 in a Whatnot show, actually, to the same person. They bought one. They said, "Oh, you have more?" So, sometimes he buys things, but generally, I'm the person that does most of the buying. Now, what kind of time? When does our mojo go down? Well, I'll tell you. There's a bunch of different times when, over the course of the year, and actually, Susan was here on the weekend doing a Max Old pickup, Spinsy, and we were chatting about that, and I said, well, I'm in one of my down things, and like one of the challenges that I have as a reseller is not just reselling, but reselling with content that you guys would love to see. So part of my challenge is sitting there going, every week for 52 weeks, I've got to come up with content. I've got to have a show that's ready on every Tuesday. I have to think about stuff for Thrift It or Throw It. I have to think about stuff for baggy wall hauls and things along those lines. So sometimes my levels go up and down depending upon, I can't think of anything new to talk about. Is there anything new for me to even say? Should I even bother doing the show? So I get into these up and ebbs and flows with stuff. And that's just regarding my YouTube and our craft group. But beyond that, we also have our reselling. And we have weeks where we had a return that we fought. But when we had the return come in, it actually took out more than half of our sales in a week for eBay. So we ended up having a 1-week check dropped to us from eBay for like $68.
Yeah, under 100.
Huh?
You almost cried.
I have never seen anything under $100 in like 5+ years. I don't recall ever seeing a single week where we got under $100. So it was like, why am I doing this? And that's kind of a thing people, I think, end up hitting every once in a while. Then, if you're lucky, Sherry had an $800 Whatnot show.
Nice.
We've had a $500 kids show on Whatnot. And that's why we always say Whatnot is a really good place to think about using, especially if you're in the States and you can use their USPS thing. But generally, it's one of those things where, and then you have a good week. And so I think that's the whole thing, is trying to figure out how do you, that's one thing. Then you look at things like all the stuff that you bought and your storage unit and your dining room table, which you can't see anymore, and the boxes that you forgot to sort through, or the bags of stuff that you brought in from the hoarder house, all of those things. And a lot of it gets into your head. And so I think when we look at stuff like this, on a completely serious note, I think if you watch a real episode of Hoarders, you'll see that's kind of even how people say they started on it. It's one thing, then became another, and at some point you kind of go, I'm stuck. I don't know where to start. But instead of stopping your thrifting, instead of adding something more to your sales, you just go out and buy some more stuff. And then you drop it off beside the stuff that you had because it can't sit on the top anymore, because if you do, it'll fall over. So I think it hits a lot of us, and those of us who are thrifting resellers especially find it. And then you'll do something which I considered smart at the time and then idiotic after. Let's buy an Amazon pallet. And then you get like an entire pallet of stuff that you're going to have to go through. And that takes you away from, again, all the stuff that you bought. We have stuff, as you know, we find stuff in profit piles all the time that we have not touched in 5 years because it's just got put somewhere, then got buried, then put behind something or something along those lines. So I think that's part of the challenge is with your Mojo, you literally can almost freeze. And this is what I'm dealing with. I can't take a step forward. And
well, I think one of the things that goes through my mind, Craig, is that with so much stuff around, it's really difficult to pick the thing you're going to start with. It's like, oh, I know that there are some valuable things over in this pile, but what about that box over there? Oh, in that box and that box, and oh shit, we've got a ton of stuff at the unit that matches that. Should we bring it all together? And the spiraling continues. I think the thing that we've done great in the past little while is we're clearing out stuff using max sold and whatever. And our dining room table is now clear at least one day a week, which is fantastic. We've actually opened up the space. No. We've opened up the space.
We've cleared the dining room table
for one day. No, but that's fantastic. Instead of piling more stuff on it and not doing anything with it, it's actually become our sorting area. So we're able to clear things because we've got a path to do it.
Yeah.
So that's the fantastic thing about, in my mind, clearing space, clearing mind. It gives me one thing to focus on, the boxes on the dining room table, 2 or 3.
Well, Rick just brought up the first point because I hadn't brought that up yet.
I'm sorry. I thought you had. I was taking
first
care of
thing that
Doug.
we should be thinking about
Oops.
is clean your space.
Did I introduce it well?
Clearing your space and clearing your mind. Like that's as many of you know, Rick's mind is sometimes just clear. Like obviously of any discussions we had before the show.
Not like going clear.
No,
I'm not a Scientologist.
Completely clear. But yes, let me just step back to say, like,
yes, I am psychic.
So yeah, Charmaine is saying the clutter gets to me too. What? Oh, that's his note. Lisa said she found stuff when she moved 10 years ago when she was sorting for the market that she just did and did pretty well. You also, again, run into, like Elisa had one sale in 5 days and it's tough. Yeah, that is a big tough thing when you're looking at stuff like that. And I think that's part of the thing as well is, well, and look, Elisa said she's been working on a max sold catalog for 2 years. Well, let's see where and Sherry said she planned on doing one, got stuck. And Carl saying the cheap stuff you got extra when buying the other stuff like, yeah, stuff that kills you because it sits there and it takes up so much space. It could actually be, yeah, a little bit of ADHD because there's so much stuff that's there. Heather's got a real good comment. It's discouraging when you're not making enough money to pay the bills. And that, I mean, those are the challenges that I think a lot of us have. Donna saying that she's in the same boat. She's been picking stuff from her profit pile to put into the Boost or list on Posh or Etsy. So, and Andrew's in the same boat as Carl. It's the cheap stuff that got extra that it's like, oh, and actually same with Kevin too. Oh, Heather, somebody clipped the bumper off your convertible and you can't afford to repair it. That's just, did your comment disappear? I don't know. I'll have to see. I don't know where your comment might have been. Rick can look for it. Sometimes you can get some good things. So like Holly is recovering from foot surgery. And because of that, she's been listing 20 items per day and actually selling the newer listed items. I'm assuming that's what she meant by newer items. But Kevin's also got a point. Little sales are killing the average sale price. And that's, again, if you're looking at that kind of stuff to see, that's like you go, oh, geez, I don't, it's disheartening as to what you've got, kind of thing. So here he goes. I have a death pile to defy the Himalayas, but I have a practical plan to now be done with it by the end of 2025. Wish me luck. Amazing luck on that, because we're doing that too. We're doing plans for that. And I think this is part of the first thing that we're talking about, which is clear your space or clear your mind. So there's a couple of things that Rick sort of brought up. One of them, which is to sort of clear your head a little bit. It's if you're stuck, I think my sort of way of looking at it is to go, let's not try to dwell on the past. Let's sort of look at it and go, how do I clear my head instead of looking at all this stuff and then taking myself back to how did I get it? What am I going to, we just go forward and we go, we have to get stuff out of our mind. Now, sometimes it's hard to get stuff out of your head. And like you're already, so I just want you to think about one thing. If you're trying to get stuff out of your head, just think about if you happen to be somebody who is trying to sell a mirror. Sometimes it's just humor that needs to get you out of your head. And take a look at this. This is, if you've never looked at this, there is a number of pages you can Google that is people selling mirrors. And you just have to look at some of them and go, oh my God. Yep, this is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to hide behind. And we've had trouble selling mirrors too, but we've never had trouble that looked like this. Or potentially like, oh my God, there is a dog taking a crap in my mirror picture. Then I didn't notice it, but I'm still trying to sell that dresser for 500 pounds.
Now, hopefully it is a mirror and not.
Hopefully it is a mirror. Well, since we had a dog, look, a kitty. There's a kitty in the mirror because trying to face the ceiling in order to try and go, okay. So that's a good idea. Maybe you should cover the mirror. That'd be a good idea. You're selling a mirror. So how about we just cover the entire mirror with paper?
Actually, I like that concept, though. If they had done it perfectly, it might actually draw attention to.
Or how about a giant paper towel in the middle of the mirror? That whatever you do, try and make sure that grandma is maybe out of the way.
Or waving.
Or waving.
Grandma is not a vampire.
But at the end of the day, if you got to take one, just do this. That's what I say. Don't mind taking your picture. Just say, hey, I know I'm taking a picture of a mirror. So maybe you can get yourself out of your head by thinking, at least I don't have any mirrors that I have to take pictures of.
Isn't that an insult in Britain?
Yeah. Well, if it was moving, yeah, that's true. It does do that. Yeah. Own it. Lisa says, tilt the mirror towards the ceiling or the sky. Some of those look pretty bad too. Make sure it's blurry. Yeah, it does. That can be the up yours symbol. Don't you remember that?
Up your bum.
Yeah. With up your kilt. Yeah, it's with are you being served?
Onslow.
Sandy said she sold a mirror, laid it on the lawn, took it at an angle, showed sky and clouds. It's very good. Rick, we try and do something where Rick holds the camera at an angle and I stand there with a giant piece of white paper behind it so that you see the white paper. Again, get out of your head. Laugh about it. Think about stuff like that. And so here's what I'm saying. Like, we'll laugh about it, but it helps to clear your head. But I think in also clearing your head, the other thing we're saying is clearing your mind is also clearing your house a little bit. And so what we've been really stressing on over the past little while is purging. And how we're purging is a number of different ways. One of the ways we're doing it is we're saying that when we look at something, it's time for us to make the decision on what is happening with that item now. Just, it doesn't get picked up, put back down, picked up, put back. So, and this has actually been helping us. I was working on some boxes that I found last week, and immediately I said to Rick, okay, I think some of this stuff is too cheap. It's that small stuff that I think that like Kevin was talking about and Carl was talking about. It's $2 and $3 stuff. I'm not going to sell this on Facebook. So I have two choices. And this is one of the things we did a couple of years ago is I had a big box and it was our garage sale box. And I started throwing the stuff into the garage sale box. Then the next summer we had a garage sale and all I did was open the boxes because I knew everything inside it was not worth money. It wasn't worth time. Or I thought I'm going to get rid of some of this stuff because I need another coupon from the Value Village for 20% off or Salvation Army for 20% off. So it was like, then other stuff, I actually went, I'm doing things a little differently, but I was like, I'm going to open a Max Sold catalog and I'm going to immediately start putting the stuff into the Max Sold catalog. And that's what I did. And I actually ended up getting like 38 items done in like one night that had been sitting beside me for a long time. So it was a real sort of way. And it cleared my mind. It cleared space. And I was like, yay.
Yeah, two big tubs in the garage, out of the dining room.
Hello, Gavin. Charmaine said we started doing the same and also a donation box. That's the kind of thing. Heather's planning a garage sale before it's too cold. Oh, you're probably not having one. Carl says the Ching song from Are You Being Served lives rent free in here. Yeah. The Ohio principle, only handle it once. Yes, that is a really good principle. It is the try and handle it once. Now, if you've got it listed, that's a different thing. Because if you've got it listed and then you touch it again, it may sell. But you can't do it on purpose again, remember. And this literally happened to us on the weekend. We were looking at something. I said something to Rick. He said, you know what? We haven't sold in like a month. And I said, what? And he said, we haven't sold any of those Doc Marten shoelaces. Half an hour later, we sold Doc Marten shoelaces to somebody in Japan. It went to a freight forwarder, like of all things, but it was like just a wild kind of thing. So again, clear your head, take breaks. And I mean, clearing space in your head and your mind can literally mean taking a break. I'm going to go back to that image again. It can literally mean taking that break. And it means you're going to say, you know what? I know I need the money. I know I need the space, but I also know I need my sanity. So I'm going to take 3 days off. I'm not going to think about all the shit that has to be done. I'm going to say, I'm going to take some time. I'm going to just say, let's just do something else. Let's go away. Let's work on the garden. Let's tidy up the basement. Let's paint the walls. Let's just sit down and binge watch Game of Thrones, all 96 hours of it. There's nothing wrong with doing that. So again, make sure you guys realize there's nothing wrong with stepping away for a little bit of time and saying, I need a break. I know you need the money. I know you need the sales. I know you need the space, but you can clear your mind a little bit by then coming back to it fresh and going 3 days later. Okay. Yeah, you may have trouble sleeping, but you got to take something. You got to do it. And sometimes what you've got to do is take and put one foot in front of the other. And soon you'll be cleaning up your store. You put one foot in front. So it's doing little things. And by doing little things, I literally mean start putting one thing in front of the other. Quit trying to do everything all at once, like gigantic amount of things. Don't say, I have to list my shed. I have to clear out my storage locker. We're doing that right now. We're clearing out our storage locker. Our goal is in the next, like the comment that was made, I think by Kendra, by 2025, our goal is in the next 3.5 months, we're planning to get rid of our storage locker. So it wasn't, we're going to do it now. We're trying to be realistic. And if we don't meet that 3-month goal, we don't get mad at ourselves. We just go, okay, it has to take an extra month. Because you need to set a smaller step. And what is our smaller step? I took one bin from there and I opened that bin on one night and I went through that. And I just did that one bin. I used that just touch it once kind of thing and went through and did a bunch of stuff. So Tina says she does a few retreats each year. That's her vacation to, yeah. But that's just it. Sometimes you need that little retreat. You need to get away and think, I don't need to do that right now. Oh, Sandra just sold a table runner she touched on, not on purpose. See, that does work. I'm not sure what.
Yay, sales. Yay, sales.
Go thrifting. Maybe. I mean, if you're trying to clear your head, going thrifting may not work.
Go to a museum. Go swimming.
Do something that hasn't got to do with reselling. That's what I'm saying, just to clear your head.
Touch dirt.
We had a rented garage one day on, one day off.
Touch grass. Touch dirt.
Take a picture of a mirror with other stuff for sale with the prices in the background, but make sure that they're written the way that, so when you take the picture, the prices are shown the right way around.
No, you can also flip the image.
I guess, yeah, you could flip the image.
Then you're in the alternate universe.
Then you're in a completely different universe. So what are we talking about? We're saying small goals. We're saying set achievable goals. Now, your goal can be as small as one thing. And we did this. Somebody actually made the comment. I think actually Susan made the comment. I think we're going to start coming up. Maybe we'll start in November. We started doing our craft our listing challenge. Our listing challenge was to list a certain amount of things, one thing, 3 things, one category, something like that, every week, every day if you can. You could be as aggressive as Brian and Charmaine are, which is amazing. If you're in the craft group, I want you to take a look at Brian and Charmaine, who are here in our chat, because they have done their own version of a challenge to each other. And they're doing posts that have to do with, we're going to try and do this many sales and this many posts. And because they're a team, they're actually working against but for each other to try and see, oh, you've got 3 done. So it's a little bit of a challenge for that, but it's a great challenge. And I love what they're doing with that. Again, the way Rick and I do it, it doesn't work like that because he doesn't do as much listing. So the challenge is for me to get stuff ready and then for him to photograph it. So that's the kind of challenge that we end up having. But take that. Oh, it's going very well. I am beating him. Yes, go see Evil Dead, the musical in Toronto. That'll take your head out of something. Go to bingo. Yes. Any of those, actually. So that's one of the things. It's like, I want you to think about small, achievable goals because it's part of the clear your head. But if you take a small, achievable,
here's their challenge in the Canadian group.
How many items, how much in sales?
It looks like you're tied with the number of items, 28.
Well, she might have been beating him as of today.
Okay.
So again, it's like try and set a smaller goal because that's one way for you to help to get your mojo back. And that is to say, I'm going to actually see if I can list one thing because part of your mojo is you're frozen. I think in a lot of people's heads, it's I'm frozen. I can't do anything. I'm not getting this done. So part of what I found in the listing side of things is if I can list one thing every other day, like don't make it too aggressive. Take a small step. If I can go through one box if I can press one shirt, if I can take one set of photographs, that's all you need to do, because then you can go to bed and go, I actually got one thing done. And all it takes is one. That's the whole one foot in front of the other. We've done it where we could have a day or two of barely listing anything. Right?
Yeah.
Be on it, completely on it.
Yeah.
And we've done it to spite each other.
No. Me? No.
We've done it to spite each other.
No. I would never.
And it is I have some stuff that Rick needs to take pictures of. If he isn't going to take pictures of anything, I'm not going to list anything more.
I hate taking pictures of that sort of stuff. I'm going to leave it there for a week or 3.
So, yeah. So, again, we'll do 2 days of and then finally we'll get around to it. And then all of a sudden we'll be like, chunk, and getting through a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, the thing in my mind that has changed, Craig, is that if I'm looking at a bunch of stuff that's in our drafts, I now focus on, okay, I really don't want to take photos of that, so I'm going to do that first so I get it out of the way and out of my headspace.
So that's a change, and that's a whole change in sort of how you've cleared and how you're thinking about something. Right?
The same thing with listing big things, or not wanting to list the cookie jars or the breakables or the things that are going to be really difficult to ship.
And that leads to...
Oh, I did it again. Oops.
Flipping the script on your thoughts. You did. But it does. It actually is a perfect segue into flipping the script on how you want to look at something, how you want to think about something. Trying to say if there's a negative connotation to it, what is it that you need to do with that thing as a negative connotation? So, Rick, you go back and repeat what you just said again.
Well,
so
basically,
I'll list like 25 things in drafts.
Yeah, he's a machine when it comes to setting up drafts. And then I look at what he's set up, and, there might be something that, I have to take apart or line up 75 things in a photo to make it look good. And that takes time. And one of the complaints at the back of my mind that Craig's always telling me is that I'm taking too long to take photos and blah, 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 blah. Anyway, so I start with that one. I get it out of the way, and then the rest of them are like icing on the cake. It's like I've gotten rid of the biggest mental block that makes it less enjoyable for me, and then I finish off with the things that are easy peasy I can do in my sleep. And that's helping me be a little more present and less frustrated with some of the things that I'm doing for this hobby that we've got.
Well, Sandra says she's got 2 years worth of photos. Well, again, so you need to flip this is actually something Rick and I have talked about before, because we'll do a max sold sale, and then we'll have something that we either, because I'm hideous with max solds. I always try and curate things, and literally, like right before we're about to launch it, I pull 7 things out that I go, this just doesn't fit with the rest of the sale. And Rick is driving me, going, stop that. And I'm going, okay. And I'm trying every sale now. I'm trying to get a little more relaxed on not curating as much and seeing, okay, our sales are still there. But when I was doing the curating at one point and I pull stuff out, then 2 sales later, I go, we want to put this in. And I'd say, have you got the photos? Rick used to spend a half an hour scrolling back through the thousands of photos.
Not worth your time, folks.
Wait, let's repeat that for everybody.
It's not worth your time looking for photos from things in the past. Take new photos.
Clearing your head so that you can move forward instead of focusing on something that you had and you took a picture. Just move on and take some new pictures and then get rid of them. Don't worry about the fact that you may have spent a lot of time on it in the past. You're not thinking about the fact that you spent a lot of money on those things over the past 5 years. So don't think about the fact that or if you are, you need to think about how you're getting rid of them.
Yeah, I think the last time I looked at the photo, I used to keep photos of everything. We used to self-host our photos for eBay. So on our website, we had a directory for all of the photos for all of our listings. And there were something like 65,000 photos on that website.
The ghost of photos past. Exactly. Sandra, well, again, maybe delete the end one, like the more recent ones. Maybe that's one of the things that you could try and do to flip the script and go, I took these photos. My one small goal is I'm going to list the last 3 things I took photos of. So you're flipping the script, and then again, at the end of the day, it really, the minute you hear a cha-ching, does it not just change your whole mojo? Does it? It is like the thing that every one of us just really wants. I know sometimes we may hear it on eBay, or we hear it on eBay. Some people don't hear it anymore. Sometimes it's just a ghost of a cha-ching if it's on Facebook, if it's a ping that's coming in from Marketplace, if anything along those lines. That's all you need in some cases to actually say, wait a minute. This is fun again. Now I'm going to find another one of those things. Like,
it's fun until it's a $12 shoelace. It's only fun until it's a $12 shoelace.
well, no, it's still fun if it's a $12 shoelace, because that $12 shoelace was something we thought wasn't going to sell.
Yeah, you're
And
right.
like this weekend, we ended up having a bunch of auctions end, and we had like, I don't know, 15, 16 packages that we got to ship out today. So taking those packages, I helped Rick pack them all last night. I took a big bag to the post office today. So it was a bag full of stuff. It was probably in the total in there was probably $400 to $500 worth of stuff, I think.
Yep.
And it was like, yeah. And when I carried that bag and took it into the post office, I was like, time to list some more. There's a positivity when you, yeah, it's very Pavlovian. It's like cha-ching. So yes, all delete 2022. Paul silenced the cha-ching. Too many cha-chings at night. Do you know how many people would have that? Wouldn't care. They would love that problem.
Yeah, you can leave now. No, fantastic.
I'm over here with my notifications silent. Don't make them silent. Heather says she does it all, photo and list at the same time. Yeah, and again, depending on how you do it, that may work for you. Dawn says she deletes her photos from OneDrive as she lists, then forgets to delete them for 6 months later from her phone, and then does a bulk delete.
I'm afraid to look at my photo drive.
Charmaine has to remember to delete them once posted as well. So I saw somebody said I keep all of my old pictures, and it's come in quite handy. They're all timestamped with a file in the file name. If you can do that, that's great. But again, 90% of the stuff that we deal with, and I think a lot of people here deal with, is they don't sell the same thing the next, like again, sometimes ever again. So to have those photos sitting there is kind of like, what a waste to have all that space. Carl used Google Photos, deleting them online, deletes them off my phone.
Well, I have an iPhone, so I have everything stored in the cloud.
And when the listing's done, when I delete the pics. Oh, okay. It also takes a lot of memory. Yeah, that is true. Bob says I should silence the cha-chings, but I don't. No, Bob. It's the thing that actually makes people, I think, again, be that little bit, oh, wow, I sold a hat.
Yeah. What's the most embarrassing time that a cha-ching happened for you? Were you at a funeral?
Oh, God. I thought, no. Yeah.
Were you at an auction?
Silence your cha-chings if you're at a funeral. Silence your cha-chings if you're at a bat mitzvah, if you're at a wedding reception. Silence your cha-chings. You kind of want a gynecology appointment. That's a good one. Okay. Yep. That's
How many? We've been to a lot of auctions, and you hear a cha-ching, and like 12 people look at their phone
yeah.
to see who was there.
I remember, what was it, Rick? Like 5 years ago, I don't know, bat mitzvah, bar mitzvah. I'm watching Nobody Wants This on Netflix right now. So, which is a really good show. If you have Netflix, there's an amazing comedy. It's called Nobody Wants This. It's a half-hour show. It's really good. It's bad when cha-ching happens in an in-person auction. Congratulations, you now have the bid. Yeah, it's also strange because everybody turns around when you're doing this, and when you're trying to bargain for a discount. Yeah, that's.
Sorry, Mr. Doug is getting a little antsy.
No, I don't think that Rick would yell out yes. No. Cha-chings is a marketing tactic. Nobody Wants This. Yeah, it's a series. It's not a movie. It's a series. It's just been renewed for season 2. And it stars the girl from Frozen, not Idina Menzel. Kristen Bell and Adam somebody. But no, it's really good. But yeah, those cha-chings are something that we've watched. Actually, I always hated them 5 years ago. As I was saying to Rick, I used to, oh my God, we're going into an estate sale, hide them. Now no one cares. It's the same sitting in a thrift store. No one cares because it's such a different group of people with doing that sort of thing. So So not only when I'm saying about flip the script, am I talking about flipping the script on your thoughts, but I'm also saying I want you to flip the script to maybe different ways that you do something. So think about it as, I'm going to flip the script. I'm not going to go and thrift until I sell something. God help us that we would say that. Yes, I'm actually saying it. So you're not going to go and thrift again until you sell something. Now, why is that flipping the script? Well, I know you have FOMO. You're going to have fear of missing out. But the fear of missing out needs to be pushed as far back as you can to the fear of not selling. So the fawns, fear of not selling. It's with an S, not a Z, but the fawns. So I want you to get rid of the FOMO and work on the fawns. And that is the fear of not selling something. So maybe that's a way for you to flip the script and go, I get to thrift once I've sold something, or I get to thrift once I've listed something. So I want you to, again, flip the script on how you may decide to go thrifting. And that's why it's, even if you need to clear your head, if that's the way you take your break, okay. But otherwise, it's like, we're trying to get things sold here too. Or maybe you flip the script on how you thrift and say, I'm not going to spend more than 15 minutes in a store. I'm just going to try something a little different. I'm going to flip the script and I'm not going to spend more than 15 minutes in the store. That's it. And if I don't find anything, that's fine. I'm not going to spend hours doing it, because what'll you do? You'll go back to the house, and then it's time for you to take one of those small steps. So a lot of these things are going to work hopefully together. Yeah, it's like the reward system to yourself. So if you want to thrift, do something to sort of give yourself a reason to thrift. We've actually had some people before 15 minutes. We've done it. We actually did a challenge on that before. We said it's like it's a 10-minute or 15-minute thrift, and it depends on what it is that you sell. But in our case, we've done it in a number of times. So I don't want to waste a lot of time, and I want to make sure I'm getting on to something else too. So we also know people who spend 3 or 4 hours in the thrift, one thrift. And it's like, you could be listing instead of spending those 3 hours. And it's all about FOMO. So I want no more FOMO. It's all about the fawns. Right?
No more FOMO, homo.
No more FOMO, homo. So Jojo, Mojo, Jojo, Dojo, fawns. Hey. I don't know what that. Hey, you said that. You made it. So.
Oh my.
Yeah, so that's what I want you to do. Think about the fawns. fear of not selling. That's where you've got to move your FOMO into the funds. And at garage sales, it should be up and down kind of thing. So when we move from that, I want you to think about another different thing. Again, hopefully it's part and parcel of this. I want you to think about learning something new. That's a way to get out of your funk, to get your mojo back, is think about, I'm going to do something different. I have no mojo left. My mojo go, Joe. Whoa! No.
Oh no!
Oh no! Homo go no mojo.
You sound like the worst Furby. You're a knockoff Furby.
That's why I turned into a knockoff Furby. But I want you to think about learning something new. And here's a couple of ways I want you to think about learning something new. But wait, let me just see this. Yes, that's Paul. That's right, Paul, because that's it is. Oh, no, not that way. Mojo Jojo. So here's a couple of ways I want you to think about something new. I want you to think about, actually, here's something I just want to put up. Tina said she skipped her favorite charity thrift after her volunteer job today because you went for early voting and stood in line. Kind of brutal, but it's done. But yeah, but again, you stepped, good for you for early voting. You stepped out of the idea I've got to thrift. It's your FOMO was there, but you had something else that you need to do. So that's a really good thing. At least I have no more FOMOs to give. Her FOMO has gone away. So what I was talking about, again, is trying something new. And when I'm saying learning something new, here's a couple of things I want you to think about in learning something new. Because I'm actually trying these. This is something I started trying in the last couple of weeks. Now, I'm always talking about things like, I want you to look at plates. So what I want you to do the next time you go to a thrift store is I want you to go to an aisle you typically do not go down. Any aisle. I want you to go any aisle you don't typically go down. And I'm talking clothing, purses, toys, records, books, kids, bathroom, any aisle you don't normally go down. And I just want you to grab one thing. Doesn't matter what it is. I want you to take one thing to take a look at. Sure, something that catches your interest. Something colorful, something big, something small, something neat, something overpriced, whatever. I want you to take a look at that one thing. And we're going to learn something new about just it. We're not going to buy it necessarily, but we're going to learn something new about it. So we're going to pick up the item that we've got. I'm trying to see if we got something here. We're going to pick up this item and we're going to go, I've never seen this. So I want to learn a little bit more about this. I want to learn about the company that did this, Wine Things. So I'm going to just make some notes to myself, and I'm not necessarily going to buy this. Yes, I did buy this. This was at a garage sale for $1. But I want to learn about Wine Things. And I want to say why I should look up things like this. So that the next couple of times I go, you're going to start expanding your sort of library of things you can look at. Today, I can tell you, I was at a thrift store and I went and looked at some Christmas ornaments. I'm big on Christmas ornaments. And so when I looked at the Christmas ornaments, I thought, okay, here's something I haven't looked at, like a non-typical Christmas ornament. So I thought, I'm going to look at this and I just want to find out some information about it. So I wrote down what it was, took a picture of it. I took a picture of the bottom of it. And now I'm going to look up and learn a lot more about it. I did look it up to see that it wasn't something I wanted to buy right away. It's not like I went, oh, should I buy this? Oh, it's worth $50. I'll just put it back. No, I didn't do that. I'm not that much of an idiot. I looked something up and I got to learn more about this. I have learned, as an example, in the plate area, I have learned that I should look up things when they say Ciroa, Ciroa. I have learned in plates, again, and China, that I should not just disregard 222/5. So now that I know those two things, if I grab a plate and I flip it over and I see 222/5, it's like, I got to look this up. I got to do a little more research on it. Now I'm in the store. this particular ornament that I looked at, the type of ornament, I thought, this is something I hadn't seen before. I looked it up. I did a little research. I went, no, I didn't. I don't need that. So again, I recognize the box. Now, when I go there, it's like seeing a precious moment. I don't want to buy a precious moment. I don't need to spend time looking at precious moment figures. So I want you to learn something new each time you go to a thrift. I just want, if you're in the clothing section, grab any item, pick the shirt, the blouse, the purse, take a picture of the item, take a picture of the label, take a picture of the price, and that's like. And then I want you to just think over the next time I'm sitting on the can with nothing to do, I'm not going to doom scroll. I'm going to look up this, and I'm going to see, find a little bit more about this particular type of clothing or purse or toy. So that's learn something new, and your mojo can start coming back again because you're going to look up different things. Kendra says, ties that don't sell. It's probably better than buying 70 men's ties to learn ties. Yeah, well, that's true. It is better than that. Or, yeah, you can learn you hate shipping plates. But if I showed you a plate that was $2 that you could sell for $75, you kind of would regret it. Like Rick doesn't like shipping them either.
Yeah, I've gotten over my fear of shipping plates. I do my best to protect them during shipping. And what's the worst that could happen? They break during shipping. We have to do a refund. All I know is that I've done my part in packing it well enough that I think it'll survive.
Donna says plates and platters can break. If there's one being shipped, she'll ship a bunch of dinner plates with no issue. We've shipped singles, we've shipped multiples. Yeah, when we pack, we use pizza boxes for packing. We properly make sure we haven't had any plates break yet in all of our shipping of plates.
Pool noodles.
You could skip the picture frame aisle. That might not be the best style to look at. I'm just talking about other things. When you get to the mugs, take a look at mugs. If you go along the aisle, that is all of those thermoses, like there's those like drinking thermoses, the coffee things, like Yetis. There's like 500 different ones. Just grab one, take a picture of it, learn a little bit about it. So learn something new. The other thing I want you to keep in mind is learning something new about either your selling platform or a new platform. So learn something new about your selling platform. Guess what? So I'm talking with Susan when she's over picking up some Maxwell stuff, and I say, Etsy, blah, blah, blah. I've got good, okay sales on Etsy, but she sells something on Etsy. I sell the same thing on Etsy. She's been selling a lot of them. I can't sell one of them. She says, well, what are your tags? And I say, I don't use tags. And she said, are you absolutely crazy? And I said, no, I'm not crazy. I don't use tags. She goes, you have to use tags. And I said, why do I have to use tags? She said, because she explained why I really should be using tags.
Because Etsy does not, when you search Etsy, it doesn't search anything in the description field.
Which is different from eBay. eBay's been my main platform for 28 years. Etsy's been a secondary platform that I've only started moving stuff to. We now have over 100 items on Etsy, but a bunch of them don't have proper tags on them. In fact, something I showed last week, I think it was last week or the week before, Lisa Boland was really nice enough to say, you really need tags, and literally said, yeah, here's your tags. Like, so it was not an impersonation of you. It was just me doing me.
I witnessed the entire affair.
Look, and Sherry shipped 100 pieces of Franciscan dogwood in one box. Not one piece broke.
How big was the box?
It was the pink lampshade that we were talking about. Tina says she's got higher value items and she's ready to give Etsy a try. And again, what I'm talking about is learn more about your selling platform. So if you want, try and learn a little bit more. If you're on eBay, learn a little bit more about how you could potentially use their promoted listings, how promoted listings work. Look at how you're doing all their keywords. Look at using sell similar, different things. But just, again, you're trying to get your mojo back, and your mojo is to try and help you sell. On Etsy, look at using tags if you don't use them. There's a thing I just signed up for recently called, I think it's Allura, which is supposed to help me with tags. So I'm going to look at that a little bit more. I'm trying to learn some. So again, I'm trying to get my mojo back by going, I'm not just going to sit there. Kendra said that, does anyone use Etsy online tag generator? I use tags, but I'm not sure I'm using the proper trendy tags. I think that's one of the things that I'm thinking about too. Yeah. Oh my God, it was 60 pounds. Dang. Somebody just put, dang. Not hashtags, no. On Etsy, when you do a listing at the bottom of Etsy, you actually have the ability to add, I believe it's 13, I might be wrong,
Up to 20
tags
characters.
about something. So the way Etsy works, and this is something I just learned, even though we've been selling on Etsy for years, is that if I put something in the title and then I expand on it in the description, I'm used to eBay, which can search descriptions. But let's just say I only had the word vintage in the description, like this vintage kitchenware. Well, there's a section called tags, and you've got 13 things you can put in there that will help somebody who's typing in the search for Etsy find your item better, and it will help their SEO actually push your item out. So I might put in vintage kitchenware. So I'll give you a sort of example with what I was talking about from what Lisa had actually given me was some examples on the pink shade that we were doing. What I ended up doing on the pink shade was she gave me things like put in things like tags that say mid-century lamp, tiered lampshade, teddy bear, because teddy bear is not in my title.
Vintage
Wedding cake style, 1950s nursery, things like that. Those are some of our 13 tags now, so that people may find it. Now, I haven't sold it yet, but you never know. It may sell soon.
I like the point that Lisa made. Use a phrase that people search for, because when Etsy's search algorithm is activated, it's going to look at the phrase that people type in and immediately look in titles for phrases that match or tags for phrases that match, whatever the search string is. And then it goes from there.
So again, just I want you to learn something new, and it might actually prompt you to another way to sort of get your mojo back. And in fact, one of the things that I would actually say is, and you've heard me talk about this before, is take a look at crosslist magic. I mean, I think Tina said that she was going to start using or had something to put on Etsy. Crosslist magic is the easiest possible way for you to think about cross-listing to a platform that you're not used to using. And I'm talking about cross-listing to everything from, here's my crosslist magic, Depop, eBay, any market, Etsy, Facebook, Grailed, Instagram, Mercari, So look at the Vinted UK and US. So there's all these different places. You can take your, I don't know, Charmaine or Brian, if you use it at all yet, but you can take your Facebook marketplace listing and you can cross-list it to Etsy, and you can cross-list it to Posh. You can cross-list it. That's how we actually are building this. And I try and do, again, a small step, try and do at least 5 items every week that I cross-list. I use cross-list magic for.
That's 1 item a day, folks.
There's a whole video on this, a reselling multi-platform game changer that's in here. So if you look at Two Dog Digs, you'll see that. And again, you get 50% off if you use the Two Dog Digs code. 7 days free, and then it's $9.99 a month US. But you can get it for $5 a month for 3 months. So that's the best $15 I think you could spend if you're trying to learn something new. Okay, yes, we have. Yay! And it is so easy. Yeah, $9.99 a month, 7 days free. First 3 months, if you use Two Dogs Digs, are $5 off. So it becomes $5 a month. Elisa uses it for mostly eBay to Poshmark. Yep, we're doing that too. Crosslist Magic is on your list. Good. Don't forget to use that code. So again, hopefully a couple of those things. At the end of the day, because we're getting close to the end of our hour, I want you to think about the whole thing really on this, which is, why is it that you got into this? It's because you love the thrill of thrifting. So you want that mojo back. This is why you started down that path. And it's actually something that can help you get back there. Again, when I'm saying a lot of these things are crossing between each other. So, but you may need to take the steps. They don't have to be 20 gigantic steps at the same time, but you need to think about taking a few of them possibly to go, how do I get my mojo back? Okay, so in the next week, to get my mojo back, I need to clear some space. So I'm going to look at that box that I've been sitting there for a while, and I'm going to actually go, I'm either going to donate it or I'm going to list it. I'm going to set small goals. That box, I'm going to donate it. I'm going to list it. There you go. I'm going to flip the script on how I do it. I'm going to actually list this and do the listing and the picture of every item in that box as I touch it. I'm going to do the listing zone now. I'm going to do the photos later. I'm going to do the listing of 5 things this week, and I'll do the rest of them next week. Boom, boom, boom. So we're starting to flip the script. Learn something new. I'm going to learn just a little bit better on how other people are writing these things up on eBay, on Etsy, on Poshmark. I'm going to try crosslist magic and move 1 or 2 of the things I've got over and see what happens. See if I get views, see what happens to it. I don't know. And all of those things will help. Maybe I'll get a cha-ching. And all of those things will help you get back to the thrill of thrifting, which is why I think we're all in it now. It was a lucrative hobby, but it's now a main source of income for people. It is a huge source of income for us between all the different platforms. And as it stands right now, we are now at the position where about 30% of our revenue is coming from Whatnot. About 40% of our revenue is coming from eBay. It used to be like 90% eBay.
Mm-hmm.
About 20% of our revenue is now coming from Etsy because we have higher price stuff that's selling on Etsy. And I think there's 10% left in there, which is Facebook and Posh, which we haven't really sold anything on Posh in a while. So Facebook. So I think that adds up to 100. If it adds up to 110, I'm just doing it out of the top of my head. I just know eBay's number 1, Whatnot's number 2, Etsy's number 3, Facebook's number 4 for us.
Yeah, Max Sold is kind of over and above all of.
Oh yeah, I don't even think about Max Sold. If I did that, I got completely different numbers in there. But yeah,
it's about 10 to 15%.
Max Sold is, I guess above or equal to Etsy. Like about no, actually, it's more equal to Whatnot. It's third.
It's more equal to Whatnot.
At least because all my friends are resellers. Heather only has 1 car, and you'll only have 1 car. So that's actually, we have 2, and we're thinking about getting 1. But again, it's all about let's all motivate each other. That's the whole goal that we had to try and we were hoping to do today. And we hope that if you're looking again in our craft group, you will see things there that help to motivate you. And some of those things that can motivate you could be as simple as going and looking at the Thrift Hall of Fail from Two Dogs Digs, which has about 500 members, and Elisa and I seem to be the only people who post in it, with some fabulous items in it, like this lovely plush cat that Elisa found. This, I'm not sure what the heck this is from a, who's handling what wood there? Well, you never know, but they do sell GIMP costumes at the Value Village or thrift store. This one killed me because I was looking at it going, why is the one girl underwater and the guy is floating above it? So he's basically stepping on her and killing his little sister. I just didn't understand how this got made. And then backdoor friends are best. Okay, maybe not. Takes you to the thrill of thrifting. And again, part of that thrill, getting your mojo back, can be going to the Thrift Hall of Fail, going and joining us in the craft group, and being a part of us here. And again, we thank all of you who are in here and our subscribers to our group, our Kennel Club members as well. Next summer, we'll get back to googly eyes again.
We haven't done a ditch a dud there thing in a couple of years.
Sandy had a great point. She's not allowed to go to a thrift store until her profit gets down to a more reasonable level, says your hubby. That's I think fair. Jennifer's actually bought a $5 box of Little House on the Prairie and sold it yesterday for $99. Yes.
Congrats.
Back to what Susan said, use the Ohio principle, try to only handle it once. That's, I think, one of the things that you might want to flip your script on with people, is you might want to think, I'm only going to handle this once. I'm going to figure out what to do with it. And figuring out what to do with it could mean listing it right away. You bring it home, it's going right away into listing. I brought some stuff home today. It's out in the garage, and it's actually going to get ready to go into one of 3 places. I know where they're going. 1, is it's going into a Thrifted or Throw It Christmas show that's going to be coming up probably in the middle of November that I'm prepping for right now. 2, it's stuff that's actually going to go in our Max Sold because I found the stuff to literally put into a Max Sold. Or 3, it's stuff that I found that it's like, okay, I'm going to add this tonight and I'm going to do listings on this tonight after I eat. So hopefully, again, this helped you or may have helped you in a little bit of getting your mojo back. If you got another way to get your mojo back, leave us a message below here or talk to us about getting your mojo back a little more onto the craft group. And again, I think we're going to try and do some stuff in the next month that's talking about listing challenges, little things about mojo that may help everybody go, okay, how do I do this? What can I do to actually get my mojo back if it had gone out the door? I thank Rick because he's always there to try and, even though we do spite each other at times, he's there to help me try and get my mojo back when I'm like, I don't want to do that. He's like, no, you want to do this. And it's like, you guys all give me my mojo back on every Tuesday. It's like, I sometimes get, I have to do a show. And then when I love doing the show, I love chatting with you all. And that's why we've got craft and that's why we've got here. So thank you again. I don't know what next Tuesday's topic is going to be, but one of my things that I'm going to think to get some mojo back is I'm going to try and pre-plan the next month or 2 of YouTube shows. That's something I don't normally do, but I think I'm going to try and do that over the next couple of days. Why? It's going to flip the script for me. Maybe I'll think of something new and it'll give me a little bit of energy as I move into things. So thanks, everybody.
Let's use AI.
Or we might use you. Yep, we're going to do that thrifting challenge. We're going to start doing listing challenges. Anything you want to do, put that in there. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Heather.
Yeah, if you have any ideas for a listing challenge, get in touch.
Yeah, send us a message and we can do it. Thanks, Hydron. The Sailor Gnome, is that Mr. Hal from Gilligan's Island? No, that was something that was going to be talked about. We'll talk about that next week, though. Thanks so much. Have a great week. Try and hopefully your mojo's gone a little bit higher, and tomorrow you'll be able to do one thing that helps your mojo beat itself up like Adrian does.